so guys who all are attending the session, we have with today Deepthi with us, and we are going to talk about advertising. So just before we start this whole session, this I just want to mention that this webinar is in collaboration with QFUS, and who QFUS has brought mentors to us so that you can connect with them. So if any of you want to connect to a mentor one to one, you can check the website of for QFUS. And now I think we can start with the webinar. So Deepthi, you can continue.
Okay. Hi guys, I hope I'm audible. I'm sorry if there might be certain technical glitches. My name is Deepthi Sudhakar and I've been working with Ogilvy since 1.5 years. And before that, my advertising agency experience has been more than 5 years. So I would like to share a PPT if that's okay. Can I do a screen sharing?
Yeah, I have made you the co-host so you can share the screen.
Yeah. I'll just, in the meanwhile, I'll open my screen and I'll share the content that I have. All right. So, yes, here it is, quite excited. And yes, so this will be a session of like 45 minutes. And later on, we can follow a certain Q&A that we have.
Yeah.
So yes, we will definitely answer certain questions or queries, whatever you have in terms of advertising. So okay, so I basically want to say about a little bit about myself and how I got into the journey of advertising. Number one, I always believed that advertising was my calling. So this is something that I want to ask all of you that if this is your calling, then here are a few learnings that I've had in the past 5 years or so. Um, okay, and yes, so currently where I am working at is Ogilvy, and before that, I was working with Leo Burnett. So I've had quite a few experience about how it functions and everything about it. Also, before we start, I would like to add a certain small element that would say that I started my internship with Ogilvy, and yes, it took a lot of efforts or whatever hardships that you really want to pursue in life. You do get it. So here are a few learnings that I'm going to share. Please feel free to ask me any kind of questions that you have at the end of the session, and welcome to advertising. Cool. Just yeah. The first learning that I've had, and this is really important when it comes to advertising, is be okay with rejections. Yes. A little hard hitting fact that I didn't want to start with, but be okay. You know, it's really okay for anything in life. It's okay that people carry a certain kind of mindset. People, all of us are different, right? That's why we are creative. Each and every person attending this session, I'm sure, has one or two ideas or more than that, which is well and good. So all of us have a different set of ideas. What you may think may not be the same as I may think. And that is where we are different. And when you come into the practicality of advertising, yes, there are certain times when you will nail it, you will excel, you will just feel like you'll come up with great ideas. But there are times when, people might have a different suggestion, there will be a difference of opinion. So what really matters is that you are okay with rejections and accept it as a part of life. So that was my number one learning when it came to advertising, because we creators have a certain set of, have a certain mindset that this is how it needs to be, this is how it is. So, you know what, just be okay with whatever it is and accept it, okay? Um, the second learning that I had, and I still have it, I think, within me, is let that inner child in you think. So it's really important that the inner child in you never dies, because you know what, when you are not serious, the ideas just come from there. So that is your inner child speaking. Sometimes when we work, we really don't discuss about the work. We talk about stuff here and there, about news, about memes, about a lot many things that are not related to the brief, trust me. But yes, we just we are just out there, we just do things that we like, and we explore a lot many topics and not just sticking to work. So whatever it may be it your college projects, be it something that you're really passionate about, let your inner child be okay. And you don't have to be all serious, you don't have to be like, oh, exams, oh, projects, oh, this and that. No, just have fun while you are actually working on certain things. Have fun when you are learning. Be a little childish, be a little, open about things, because you know why? It makes you really flexible. It makes you flexible in terms of ideas. It makes you flexible about new style of execution. You can come up with lot many things when you let your inner child talk, think, and do a lot many things. That was my learning. Um, the third one is, which is really, really, really important, is stay in touch with your hobby. Yes. Later did I realize that this was one of the most important learning that I had. Today, I'm sure during this lockdown, we all have realized how important it is to have your own hobby. So, yes, be it anything. A lot of you might be really good with music. A lot of you might be really good with dancing, reading, script writing, narration, or whatever. There are numerous things, that you can pursue as a hobby. You know why I'm saying why this is important to have a certain set of hobby? Because it will let you be creative. It helps you think beyond work. It helps you open up to new possibilities, and that is how you can, not stress yourself out when you're working. Trust me, in the practical world, when you're working out there with advertising agencies or whichever agency, PR agencies or journalism, whatever you opt for, in a couple of years or you know ahead in your life, it's really important to understand that media is something that is not going to be there for like a 9 to 5 job. We need to accept that that's the reality. However, yes, it can also be 9 to 2 for a few of them if you're opting for freelancing or just a couple of hours, or it can be anything for anybody. But one thing that really needs to be clear out here is that we need to stay in touch with our hobby, because it just helps you do things in a different way. It just helps you grow as a person, and you will not be stressed about certain things when you come to this level, or when you just start working. You understand that there are certain things you need to chase in life. There might be a lot of goals, there might be briefs to crack, there might be a lot of coordination and dealings that will happen, but what will keep you going is the hobby that you pursue, or something that you genuinely want to do. Okay. So that was my learning later in life, because I was so worked up working always in advertising, and it used to get really hectic. But later did I realize that it was very important to do something for yourself. And yes, there are a lot many things that I do, and of course, reading is one of them. So that's how I keep myself happy. I try to be. And yes, there is a lot of stress, but what happens is you have to nail it with anything and everything that you have on your plate. And most importantly, please, whatever hobby you have right now, please pursue it in the long term, and don't just miss it out for anything. Give it an hour, give it 15 minutes of your day, but please, stay in touch with it. It's really important. Um, the next one is the lesson for your life is, be serious about your work, guys, but do not be serious about yourself. Yes. It is something that I have really learned the hard way, that you need to be serious about your work. There are going to be times when you will be told to crack a brief. There will be time when you have to meet stricter deadlines. You have to meet certain elements. But you know what is important? It is important that you deliver all of that and yet have fun. Yes. why I'm focusing on this part is because, time and again I have seen that people lose out their inner child when they start working in advertising. But who a true advertiser is someone who will simply just flow with it and simply be like, okay, fine, this is what we have got on our plate. But you know what? We are going to have fun and we are going to do this. We are going to crack this and we are going to come up with great ideas. So, yes, meeting deadlines is important. Being serious, speaking up for your ideas, getting rejected with your ideas, or whatever it may be. Be serious about certain elements. Be serious about your work. Because today, I'm currently heading a team of 4 or 5 people. I understand, it's really important to be serious about our work, but I cannot be really serious with them. So we have chit chat, we have meme conversation, we have different kind of conversation that happens to keep ourselves lighthearted. And yes, the work at the end of the day goes on. So that is one of the learnings that I've had in the past, whatever years I've had in advertising. The last one is very, very important is say yes to opportunities. When you say yes to opportunities, you definitely don't know what you're saying yes to, but one thing is for sure that you know you learn a lot many things. One of the examples that I've had is I had this opportunity to work with 2 different teams. So being a creative, it gets kind of messy when you have to think about it. You have to deal with 2 set of creators. You have to deal with 2 set of planners. You have to deal with 2 set of client servicing people. So there are different things. It just gets doubled up. So I was hesitant. I definitely asked the right kind of questions that I had in my mind before joining the other team. But you know what happened when I joined that team? I learned that uh, that there are greater people, there are brighter minds, there are so many things that I would have just missed if I didn't participate in it. And there will also be times when you will be told to write a greeting card for your boss's son. There will be times when you'll be told to do things as a writer or as a art person to do certain things that you don't willing to or that you don't really wish to do. But you know what? I'll tell you something. There will be a time when there might be certain people who will just spot your talent or who will just look at your creativity and be like, "Hey, wow, that's really nice." So I will give you an opportunity. Just make like 10 greeting cards for me, and here is my first opportunity to work with you. Blah blah blah, whatever. So what I'm saying is when you take up one opportunity, you open up 10 different doors for different things. So do not be stuck only, do not be stuck only or restricting yourself towards, I will only do this, I will only do that. No, it's just like your team project, right? People do a lot, many things together. Some people don't do anything, some people do a lot, many things. So we are learning a lot, many things by ourselves. So yes. Also, I had this small incident at Leo Burnett. So it was my first day. I didn't know who my boss was, and I just ended up meeting him. And he had seen my resume, and all he ended up saying was, "Oh, so you are the new person, right? You're the copywriter. So listen, there's this. I saw your resume. There's this voiceover. I have seen that you do voiceovers as well. So do one thing. We'll just connect in the next 15 minutes. I want you to record something." And I was like, "Who is this guy?" Okay, because I was hired by someone, and he was my ECB. I was like, okay, fine. I was obviously nervous because I didn't know what was coming my way and it was my first day. And I was like, okay, fine. Let me just nail it. Let me just see whatever it is. So that one thing, saying yes to that one thing, led me to work for award case studies. It led me to work for a brand like Amazon, and not just in terms of creative, but also in terms of voiceovers. So this was my learning. When I said yes to something, I ended up getting greater and bigger opportunities. And yes, so these were few of the learnings that I would like to definitely share with all of you. And I really hope that it helped. So the rest of the session I would like to keep as a Q&A because too much talking would be just crazy. So yes, I would like to answer your questions and your queries. So shoot me whatever it is that you have, and I'll be glad to address. Yeah.
Okay, Deepti, first of all, the mentees are saying that your voice was breaking a lot. So
Okay.
they're asking if you can use a microphone or something.
Okay. So I'll do one thing. Am I audible right now?
Okay.
Uh,
If
okay.
all of you
I'll
can
do
hear
one
her.
thing. Yeah, 1 second. I'll just.
Also, if you all have questions, post them in Q&A section.
Yeah, am I audible?
Uh, if you can hear her, then just type yes in the chat box.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Uh,
I guess they can hear you now.
okay. Great. So I'm so sorry that a lot many of y'all have missed a lot many things. So don't worry, I'll just give you all a quick recap again. And yes, definitely I'll tell you all a little bit of my experience as well. So is it okay if I give a quick recap once again
Yeah,
so that my voice is audible?
yeah, it's
Okay.
okay. They will appreciate that.
Okay, great. I would like to do that. So, introducing myself, my name is Dipti Sudhakar, and I've been working with OPD for like the past 1.5 year, and also before that, I was working with Leo Burnett, and I was overall my advertising agency experience is like 5+ years. So I started as an intern with Ogilvy, and it was my dream to be here and really work hard and get into this position where I am today. But it took a lot many things, a lot many learnings, a lot many opportunities, rejections. Yes. So yes, if you are here attending this webinar, I'm sure advertising is definitely your calling or something that you really wish to pursue. Okay, so 5 simple learnings that I have jotted down. It might not be same for all of us at the same time, but somewhere in life, if you want to pursue or get into an ad agency, this will surely make you. The first one is, like I said, be okay with yes. Being okay with rejection means that be okay that certain things might not work the way you wish to, or the way your ideas come up, or the way you deliver certain things. It's really important that you be okay with rejection. One of the examples that I have had was that when I was interning with Ogilvy, I wanted to be a part of the creative team, and sadly, there were no vacancies, and I couldn't get into it. And I was like, fine, that's okay, that's a part of life. So I started my journey somewhere else as a copywriter. And after 3, 4 rejections, again and again, time and again, it just kept happening with Ogilvy. And one fine day, I just got a call, and I was like, okay, fine, you're hired. And yes, so you know what? Being okay with rejections is a part of life, but do not stop pursuing what you really dream for. uh, so that is my learning, that it needs to be a part of your life. Everybody, we all think differently. That is why we are creatives, or human beings are different. So it is not necessary that we all will be on the same page at the same time. Please, it's important that you accept it and be okay with it. That's the first learning that I've had. I hope I'm audible right now. That's
Yeah, you are audible.
I'm
Audible.
audible, right? Okay. The second one that I would like to highlight is let that inner child in you think. I'm sure a lot of us have had a lot of fun when we were in college, or right now you guys are definitely, or in your school or in your childhood. You know what? It is really important that let that inner child out of as often as you can, because you know what, great ideas come from there. Trust me when I say this. When you think of a certain idea, when you think of a certain brief or a project, you might end up stressing yourself out. But when you just go with the day, or when you just stuck your thinking, then suddenly something comes up, or when you're having a funny conversations with your friends, or when you're sharing a meme with your friends, a certain idea would just pop up when you uh, let that inner child in you, and you'll have that oh wow, that's a great idea moment. So that is a really good learning that I've had. The third one is stay in touch with your hobby. Really, really important that we all do something. We all pursue something apart from work. Yes, definitely, advertising is not a 9 to 5 job. It will take up a lot of your energy, your time, mind functioning, not many. You know what? At this level, I can say that it is really important that you stay in touch with what you really like apart from work. Uh, of you all might be musicians, few of you love dancing, few of you might pursue yoga, different hobbies, and different hobbies us together, right? So it's important that whatever you like, guys, please spend an hour or spend half an hour, 15 minutes in a day, get in touch with yourself. And the reason why I'm highlighting this point is it will help you be creative, you know. It opens up your mind because you're doing something for yourself. So yes, definitely, whatever you pursue. Right now, yes, I love reading. I love doing yoga. It's a part of my life. No matter what, how busy I am, I really, really love doing it. And trust me, during this lockdown, I am sure most of you all have, understood the importance of having a hobby apart from being socially available and online. So yes, this is something you all should definitely pursue. I'm not saying fine, but we all have certain hobbies. Please stick to it and pursue it in the long run forever. Um, the next one is something I always believe, that be serious about your work and not yourself. It's very important that you meet certain deadlines, you crack the idea for the brief. Uh, you know, it is also important that if you are heading a team, that I am right now, if you're heading it, you need to be cautious about how responsible you are for each and every work that goes out from your team. So all these things are really important when it comes to your work factor. When it comes to yourself, be light-hearted, be okay, be stress-free. Try and be as easy on yourself as you can, because that is going to help you in the long haul. That is going to, help you do different things, say different things, stay light-hearted, and that is how good work comes out. Currently, I'm handling, uh, around 4 to 5 people who are junior, who are young people like you. And trust me, when it comes to work, we are damn serious about delivering our job on time and speaking up for ourselves, speaking our ideas out, or taking suggestions, right kind of feedback. But when it comes to us, when we are interactive, we really talk something that is something funny. We talk about memes, we share videos. Not many times it just keeps a good team spirit going, and it really, really helps you grow as a team as well when you yourself are lighthearted and don't take up everything seriously. So if certain things are not going your way, that's fine. At the end of the day, we all work together as a team, or someday or the other, certain things definitely click, and it is meant to be. So yes, just this is a really important lesson that we all need to understand. Um, the last one that is something that I would like to highlight again. I don't know, a lot many of y'all must have missed what I said earlier. So saying yes to opportunities is like opening doors to a lot many opportunities around you. So, like there was this incident that I'll repeat again that I had in Leo Burnett. It was my first day, and uh, I never really met my boss, and he just saw my resume, and he knew that I was a video artist. I still do, but yes. And I was like, okay, fine. And when I met him, all he said was, "Hey, this is my name, and you know what? I just saw your resume, and why don't you do a voiceover for me? It will just take a certain while. I'll share the script with you. This is what it is, and blah blah blah." I was like, "Okay, it's my first day. I'm quite nervous to do this with the person I've just met, and I have no idea what it is about." So I just said, "Okay, fine. Let me just do it, whatever it is." Saying yes to that ended up giving me more opportunities where I work with award case studies, where I worked for a brand like Amazon for voice. So I got a lot many opportunities that helped me understand that it's a really good thing to say yes to certain. Currently, I'm working with two set of teams, and trust me, initially I was like, "Oh, how is that going to happen, right?" Because handling two different teams is a very different ball game when it comes to creative. Trust me, guys. But what I would like to say that when I said yes to that, I said, "Fine, let me manage this." I asked the right questions, and I got into the other team, and all I realized was I learned a lot many things from writer minds. I met a lot many good people who's crafting or the way they write, the way they talk. It all made sense to me that it was so good to say yes, yes, because learning never stops at any age. Trust me. So even if a lot of y'all there might be time where you will just have to, uh, you know, do your boss's work or just help him with his son's birthday greeting card or script or anything of that sort, which might sound really bizarre, and you'll be like, "Oh, is it something that I'm supposed to?" Then trust me, taking up that work would end up, towards something else. You never know who spots your talent, and you'll be like, "Oh, listen, you wrote that stuff. You know what? I really want 10 such nice greeting cards, and I'll be willing to pay for you." So no matter what, no job is big or small. It's always about looking at the opportunity in the right way and going the right. So one thing that I would like to conclude here is that, you know what, guys, no matter what field you do, advertising, journalism, or whatever you really, really wish to, even PR for that matter, what you really need to understand that do not restrict yourself just to what you are doing. Do not have that confined thinking that says that this is what I'm going to do, this is what is going to happen, and yes, that's it. I'm just going to stick to this. No, just be open. Just be open to opportunities. Just say yes. Fine, I'll explore. If you're good with something apart from your work, please be open about it. Please share your talent. You never know, what comes your way. So yeah, so we will definitely shoot for questions, and I hope it really helped you all. So yeah.
Okay, so you have got questions for you. A lot of questions are there. So
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you the question. What are the questions, and you can just answer them.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Okay. So someone has asked, how did you get into Ogilvy?
Yeah. So okay. So getting into Ogilvy, okay, there's a bit of a story here. So I wanted to start my internship, all right, and I wanted to start somewhere in an ad agency, and I got rejected at one place, and I was heartbroken, and within a month or so, I got an opportunity that said, okay, I got a call for internship, and they were like, fine, you are hired for the internship. It's a duration of 2.5 months. You need to get your permit letter from your college, and fine. So I didn't see it coming, but it happened. Okay, and with time, again and again, like I said, you have to be okay with rejection. So with time and again, I started my career in a really mid-size agency as a copywriter. So then I always, every year I used to just end up meeting people at Ogilvy because I really, really wish to be there. I tried, I kept trying. I used to, message people on LinkedIn. I used to reach out to people who I knew from the internship time. So it was not that it was about Ogilvy. It's about I knew that what kind of a culture I was okay with. I knew that what I could bring to the table. So I just kept trying every year. And one fine day, uh, the HRs usually talk about the opening at certain places. And I was like, okay, this is the fifth time, fine. I'll just come again and I'll just give my interview. That was my perception. Because I was not like, oh, hona hi chahiye, ya ye to hoga hi. I was never, because I was so immune to rejection, you know. So this time I was like, fine, I'll just go. And they just said, you have to come tomorrow because, you know, the CCO, he's not going to be there. He's shifting to Bangalore. I'm like, fine, I'll come because it's okay, I'll go. So that was my attitude, that I never ever gave up because I really wanted it and I really pursued for it. There were a lot many rejections, but that was my story to get into Ogilvy. But I was really sure that I wanted to be a copywriter, so I kept working at different places. Every year the same story. I used to go there and give my interviews, get rejected, come back. So yeah, that's nice.
Rejection is an important part of growth.
Yes, totally, totally.
So, okay, we have another question. What things should an advertisement definitely include in order to gain more points, if not win?
Okay. So, your advertising really needs to talk to the mass. Okay. Uh, when we are writing, when we are crafting a certain line, what we do is we put ourselves in the shoes of our consumer. Who is my consumer right now? So it is really important that you think of the other person before you write or before you come up with a great idea. Because a lot many times what happens is what looks great to us might not be great for someone who is not our target audience. So the messaging doesn't work there. So yes, for effective advertising, first thing is please get into the shoes of your customers. Try and understand what you're trying to talk, and don't just try to sell your product. Just try to sell the emotion behind it. What is it that they will feel? If it's a beauty product, oh, you might feel gorgeous. Or if it's a food, it will satiate your palate, or it will fill your appetite. So the feeling, it's more important that you sell that rather than just selling, oh, here, this is the beauty product. Oh, here, this is that. Don't do the emotion behind it.
Yeah, right. Okay. Then Abhinav has asked, ma'am, I'm working with a marketing agency writing Facebook ads. Now, how can I switch to ad agencies like Ogilvy?
Okay. So, Abhinav, right? So, addressing your concern, I would like to say one thing really clearly. Okay. When I was interning, I was told I had this rigidity in my mind that I always wanted to work for mainline. I never really liked digital, and Ogilvy One was a digital wing back then. And I just kept saying to my senior copywriter, listen, I want to get into mainline. What should I do? So all he said was, you know what, Dipti, just focus on how you think and what you're thinking right now. So if you want to get into Ogilvy as an advertising agency, I understand a lot many of y'all wish to be here. But the major learning out here that we have had is you have to think of an idea. And where you are right now, if you think of your idea as something that can be extended in all the mediums, irrespective of digital, inline, print, radio, whatever. So when you build on your idea, you create a certain kind of portfolio. And Ogilvy really respects people who have amazing portfolio, thrive for ideas. So yes, please focus on your ideas, build your portfolio, no matter where you are right now, which marketing agency you are right now. If you have certain ideas, start building your portfolio and definitely share it across. You never know what really happens. So yeah, that is how you can really work on yourself and build an excellent portfolio to get into an ad agency like Ogilvy or much, any other agency that you.
That's great. That's great. Okay. So someone has asked, what is the qualification required for advertising, and what are the age requirements and qualifications required for advertising?
Okay. So number one, age is no bar. Idea is no bar. So one thing that we really have to understand is in advertising, if you ask me professionally, you have a certain course like you have bachelor's in mass media, and this is a 3-year course, and then your final year would have specializing in advertising and journalism. So you offer advertising, and when you offer advertising, you learn a lot many things in the 3-year course. So that is how you go by the books. But advertising is that kind of an industry that is really, really open to talent and ideas. I have seen a lot many people come from an engineering background, or who come from who just take up science, who just take up BTech, and we are open, and that's a really a nice thing. If you look at advertising, you meet people and you'll be like, oh, that's your background, and you'll be like surprised. There is no hard and fast rule. No matter what you choose, it's all about your creative thinking and how well you think every day. If you have ideas you think that really works with, please just, just be open to advertising is what I'll say.
Yeah, actually, you see, engineers are known for switching their stream. So I think that's really great. And
Yes, and they are really great. Trust me, they're really great in what they are doing. So no complaint.
yeah, even I am an engineer, and even I am into copywriting, so I understand that.
That's really nice. Yes.
So okay, so Shivani has asked, "Hi, I am a student of literature and haven't pursued any degree, course, or diploma in advertising. How can I start as a copywriter? How can I land internships?"
Okay. So, if you are into literature, I'm sure that you know a lot many things about Virginia Woolf or excellent writers that we have or have had in the past. So, writing is something that you'll eventually learn when you get into copywriting. There's no specific course or nothing in college, that you can practically be applying here, because projects differ and the actual briefs differ. So it is on the field that you get an. But if you want to get into advertising, please start somewhere, be it any agency. Because I started something like that. I started with internships, but no matter what, even if it is content writing that you get, even if it is any small ad agency that you get, because you know what, at the end of the day, your experience really matters wherever you start from. So just try and apply for these things. I'm sure there will be openings around that will give you an idea about copywriters or an internship. So please try and get into it and start writing. The more you write, the better your craft is. So yes, I would say that is how you can start your career, and that is how it will really, really help you, go somewhere in life. And eventually, you never know where you'll end up with. So just be positive about
Okay. Then Ratna Bharti has asked, "I want to know about branding and PR."
it. Okay. So can you be more specific, please? What about branding and PR? That any particular section or any particular thing that you have come across that I can be sure about addressing the major topic?
Okay, so Ratna Bharti, you can pose a question again, a detailed question, and then we will cover it later. Okay, so there's another question. What skills should a person have to get a head start in industry?
You mean the advertising industry, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah. So, you know what is really important? The will to do it. I'm not throwing, really philosophical thing here. The will to do it, no matter what you want to do. Be it advertising or be it any career that you're opting for. How willing are you to really do it? You know, when I started my career, I was told, you know what, advertising is not easy. This is how it is going to be. Your life is going to be bad, this and that. It's okay, people come up with their own suggestions, but the thing is, the most important factor is, are you going to take those suggestions and not pursue, or are you going to just be like, okay, fine, that might be the reality, but this is something I really want to do. So answering your question, there is no set of rules, there is no set of guidelines that you have to be, because it's creative, and creative is always different. So be yourself and find your calling. You know, it's very important that even in writing we have different sections, right? Some people are really good with writing long copy, some people are really good with writing radio copy, some are good with TVCs. There are not many things. So we have to find our calling, that what is it that you're really good at. If you're really good at ideas, or coming up with certain taglines, maybe that's your forte, and you should explore that often. So, the earlier you realize, the better it is for you. Yes, there is no set of guidelines for advertising. You have to be as creative as possible, and that really works wonder.
That's nice advice. Then another question is, how do you approach ad agencies when you are a fresher?
Okay, when you're a fresher, best thing to do is be more active on LinkedIn and not on Facebook. Okay, so please look out for people who are in an ad agency. Please follow HRs, and be willing to keep following them and ask questions. Or if you meet people of certain agencies, I ended up doing that. I ended up messaging people from random agencies. I used to just type the agency name on LinkedIn, and relevant people, if I'm in Mumbai, my location would be Mumbai, and I would just end up finding people and send them a random message. If they reply, they reply. The maximum they'll do is reject, right? There's nothing else. So just keep trying like that. That's how you approach. Be really active on LinkedIn and see what really goes on. There are many posts about internships, about openings that are there on LinkedIn. That's the best tool. That is how you can approach people, rather than waiting for HRs to give you a call and tell you, hey, here is the opening, would you like to just be proactive and start looking for yourself, right? We have opportunities and a good platform. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. What are the roles of a copywriter?
uh, Copywriter is like the bad sheep, and also someone who is always reliable and responsible for everything. The role of a copywriter is not just a writer. Okay, writer is expected to do everything. He is supposed to ideate. He's supposed to think of why this thing works. He's supposed to even plan. He's supposed to craft the lines. He's supposed to coordinate with certain people. He's supposed to present. He's supposed to do a lot many things. So this is the practicality. Like if you ask me if I have to go by the book, then of course you have to go. Your JD would be something like, you know, craft a tagline, write a headline for the print commercial, think of the visual and creative if possible. And later on, the job keeps increasing. But the specific role, obviously, your major role would be writing, your forte would be writing, but be open and willing to accept that you have to do a lot, many things when it comes to advertising.
Right. Okay. So how to stand apart among other applicants, as today the competition of marketing and advertising is huge. Each internship role has as many as 150 to 200 applicants.
Okay, that's a really nice question. Okay, the way you present certain things really makes a difference. So, for example, if I say that this is a pen, just a pen. Okay. If I say that this is a black pen that has a matte finish, and it is so smooth that when you write, you really go with the flow. That's the way you present yourself. So it's very important that while you're working on your portfolio, please be prepared on on your presentation skills. It might be that you might be asked certain questions, that what is your favorite ad that you have seen. So make sure you have a really good answer for that, or please be prepared about it. Like what you will be asked about, what you watch on Netflix, what kind of trend is going on Instagram. So be updated about things. That's how you really stand apart, by being updated about things, by working on your portfolio, definitely, by also knowing and discussing news. It also means like being trendy with the latest stuff or technology that's going on. These are the important points. That, and fifth one is very important, your presentation. Might have a really good idea with you lying in front of you, but you need to know how well you present or sell that idea. And the last thing also, I'm sorry, the last thing that I want to say is that firstly, in advertising, learn to sell yourself first. If you can sell yourself, then you can definitely sell anything that you really.
Okay. Shilpa has asked, can you give us details about your job profile?
Okay. So, Shilpa, hi. Right now, the kind of job profile that I'm working is I'm handling a team. I'm a copy, so I'm handling a team right now, which includes a set of good, great junior writers around. I really have to overlook all the copies that goes across, and I have to recraft if needed. And I report to the CCO, and a lot many ideas or the briefing that comes, it really needs to pass from me, and I segregate that what kind of tonality or what kind of direction we should take for a certain kind of brief. And apart from that, yes, it also includes that not putting a lot of stress on the team, and it also includes that I myself don't take a lot of stress and give it back to them. So yes, this is being sarcastic, but these are the realities. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my job profile.
Just like you mentioned, you should not take yourself seriously. You should take
Seriously.
your work seriously.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
So we have a question from Aparna. How do I polish my skills in order to be a copywriter or a content writer?
Like I said, till today I have this thing. Okay, whenever I'm bored or whenever I think there's not much to do, I usually just open my Word doc and start writing. Okay, so when you write, all you understand is your conversational manner. Number one, that's very important. So whenever in a day, I'm not saying you have to, but if you can, well and good. You see all this book behind me. This is like I'm not saying that I've read all of them. I really judge a book by a couple of pages. If I really like, I really end up reading it, and I love reading. So writing and reading, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Be it your crafting, be it your presentation. These two things are really important. Okay, and the third most important thing, which is like a secret, it is like when you go to international websites, be it independent or be it design milk. Okay, these are the reference that I'm giving you that really use great language, and the tonality helps me understand what kind of creative crafting is. So I also read, sometimes I read Economic Times. Yes, it also helps, but it's too serious as a tonality. But yes, the referencing thing, if you have to look at something to write an article, independent.co.uk or go to design Mill, it's really nice. The way they craft is excellent.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, someone has asked that regarding the fourth point, shouldn't we be serious about ourselves, and in what context did you state that?
Like as in, I can you
Yeah.
say it again?
So in your PPT, you mentioned in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fourth point that, right. So in reference to that, they're asking that shouldn't we take ourselves seriously, and in what context did you state that point?
Definitely. See, I'll tell you what, the difference between the two. When you take your work seriously, you end up delivering your deadlines on time. You end up thinking from a zone that helps you reach to a certain kind of result. Okay, that is related to your work. But when you start taking yourself seriously, you know what happens? You get too clumsy, you get too rigid when you start taking yourself seriously. And more than anything, it gives you a lot of stress. Why certain things is not going the way I want? Why this idea was rejected? Why is his idea better than mine? These kind of questions do pop up, and to that you do not have to take yourself so seriously. When you have fun and you will be like, fine, if this was rejected, fine, I'll go and ask for feedback. Okay, fine, if this doesn't work, I'll come up with a better stuff next time. You have to be lighthearted in terms of in terms of dealing with yourself. But when it comes to work, yes, that is how you be like, okay, fine, this is what is needed from me. Fine, I'll give my best. Okay, this is how a team should be functioning. Let's come together. Let's plan something out. This is what the deadline is. And that also means that you speaking up for your team or for yourself if you believe in your writing. That is also important when it comes to, working. Also, I'll give you one example. We might have certain kind of fights with client servicing people and be like, what is this, you're not agreeing to me, blah blah blah. But that is in terms of work. But when it comes to me as a person dealing with them, we forget about it the next day. It's like, it's work, this is personal, this is something that need not to be carried the next day. So this kind of attitude, to be open, to be flexible, to not take yourself too obviously, or leading to a lot of stress, because that's going to harm you, right? You will not think creatively, you'll get the block.
Yeah.
So yes, that is important.
There are a lot of questions. I want to cover them all. Just one thing. If anyone has any questions right now, they can shoot them up. After this, we'll closing the taking questions, and we'll just discuss the ones that are already posted.
Okay, that's
Okay. So, okay. Someone has asked, how can one find some internships as a journalism student in the field of PR and advertising?
uh, yeah, at the end of the day, I am not really a pro at journalism. Yes, I have done my masters in PR, but I would again say the same thing. Like you have attended the advertising session, if you have a journalism session as well, well and good, please attend that. Because, even if I answer this question, it might not be as relevant as the kind of information you are looking. I'm so sorry. But if it's about advertising, I can be really sure how you can approach it. In terms of journalism, I don't think so that I can give a relevant or a really a good answer that you might be expecting. Is there any other question that I can take up? Yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions. There
Yeah,
are
yeah,
a lot
sure,
of
sure.
questions.
We'll just we'll pick up.
Could you suggest post graduation courses and colleges for advertising?
Okay, that's a really tough question because I myself have done a master's, actually, not even postgrad, but that is not a compulsion. Trust me, the earlier you start working in an advertising agency, be it internships or be it like a full-fledged job, it really works. You know, your practical experience can never beat your theory. However, yes, theory is important. I learned a lot, many projects when I did my master's, and it really helped me. My teachers were amazing. They just gave me a lot of projects and less of studying. Yes, it helped me prepare for my internships and my agency life. It works both the ways. There's no compulsion.
Okay. Did you study any particular course, or did you start working immediately after undergraduation?
Um, okay. Like I said, I did my bachelor's in mass media, and I specialized in advertising. And I was really sure that I wanted to get into advertising. And after that, I believed that I should, further continue my studies. So I did my master's in advertising and PR. And while it was my last year, I requested my teacher, please grant me this internship, because that was the internship I got from Ogilvy, and they were like, fine, we are happy to give you. But it was my last year, so I was like struggling between my studies and my internship. But yes, if you believe that you can just pull it off, yes, why not? You can do it. You can work at any point of time, as far as you're not affecting your studies, because they are equally important.
Yeah. Okay. Ankita has asked, ma'am, how does one get into advertising? Also, congrats for getting into Ogilvy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really emotional when it comes to this place. Uh, yeah, I really appreciate. Getting into advertising is like finding the right person, finding the right place at the right time. All these three needs to match up. Trust me, I'm not making it up. So, like I said, please be active on LinkedIn, connect with people, and yes, if any of you all at any point of time want to get in touch with me, I'll be really happy to help, and I'll really be open to give suggestions and tell you what is going on in the agency. I can definitely recommend. That is the first thing that can be in my control. However, the hiring thing cannot be guaranteed by me because it's the HR that takes the call. Second thing is connect with the like-minded people. Like if you want to get into advertising agency, be specific what kind of agency you want to get into. Do you want to get into digital agency? Do you want to get into mainline? Or you just don't think about an agency? You just look at their ad and you'll be like, oh, this is the brand that I want to work for. It can be anything. So look for it. Like be really thorough and clear that what is your forte? What do you like doing? And the other thing that I would like to highlight is that once you connect with the like-minded people, build your portfolio, like really build your portfolio. Nobody is going to judge how well it looks. People only look at how well your ideas are defined and how well you think. So at the start of your career, you need to have a set of ideas, or you need to have a set of scripts, or whatever you like, or whatever you find creative. For that, it even means having me It's fine because you have been creative, right? Build that up, and once you are ready with all of that, please approach people who you think, who can help you. Or if you come across any kind of vacancy that's there on LinkedIn, like I'm again focusing this because I've often seen a lot of posts on LinkedIn that says that there's a vacancy, they're looking for writers or freelancers or whatever. Start from that and be okay, really be okay. If it is like a small agency, if it's a mid-size agency, or if it's like a really big agency, be okay and accept it that you have to start from somewhere. So why not from here? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Joel has asked, I am an MBA ongoing student. How can I build a career in advertising industry? Also, what are the different positions in an ad company that I can focus on?
So I was waiting for this question that someone would ask me that what are the different designations. Okay, so this is really interesting. So I would say that good that you're pursuing your MBA. It's going to teach you, and I'm sure you're learning a lot many stuff there, practical stuff, like I said. If you want to get into ad agency, once you complete your MBA, you can approach these ad agencies, or obviously once you put it on your HR's portal or any of these websites, HR websites, you definitely get a call from them, right? Looking at your resume and stuff like that. Now, getting into the category would be like, there are different multiple categories. Okay, so one is planning. Planning is something that has a lot of fun, but a lot of research. So if you're someone who really loves doing it, then planning is the thing for you. The second part is client servicing, where you deal with the clients and you try and manage stuff, and you also do the damage control. So that is what the client servicing is all about. They are like in between the creative, the planner, and they are the people who coordinate across different stuff. They also raise the bill. There are a lot many roles of a client servicing person. The later part is a creative person. So a creative person, again, the creative team again has two different categories, like the art and copy. So you can choose which one you want to get into. Either you can get into art side or you can get into the copy side, and they both work in sync. Again, there are a lot of hierarchies. You always start with a junior level and then you just go up the level. So yes, and there is also strategy, which is like again a part of planning, which just goes well. You just have to think across which is the right medium, what is the right kind of audience. It's a part of planning, but yes, that is how it really. These are the things of an ad agency.
Okay. Okay. Someone has asked, hello, ma'am, what would be the first step of getting into the field of copywriting?
Uh, the first step of copywriting. Okay, that's a funny question. Okay, how I would like to say that there are no rules and there are no steps. If you're a reader, if you were a reader since childhood, or if you really liked advertising when you were a kid, so that's when the inner copywriter of you is active, and all you have to do is you have to wait for 18 and then you get into a job. So try and understand this one really clear thing. We don't need to have certain kind of rules or guidelines when it comes to copywriting. All we need to do is understand that what really helps me think in a different way, or what really kicks me, what kind of brands I like, what kind of communication I like, what kind of books do I read, and what kind of when I get into the agency, what kind of messaging do I want to talk about, or what kind of impact do I want to make with my advertising. Yes, these are the many things that really gets the copywriter that you already have inside you. So there are no particular steps.
Okay. Okay. Dheeraj has asked, what skills should a copywriter have? And please share more about all the work involved.
Okay. Some serious question out there. So, Dheeraj, I feel that one of the major skill that you need to really, we all need to, in fact, is the art of working with a team. Okay. So we always believe that it is my idea, it's his idea, it's her idea, but that's not how it goes. It's the team spirit that really helps us in the long run, and that is something that I really learned early in my life. So I do believe that even if you're a great writer, you'll always need an art person to help you build that idea. You'll always need your seniors to support and say, listen, this is how you can make it better. That's what a good agency culture and that's what a good team spirit is all about. Okay. The number one element is always thinking that we are a team. It really helps you in the long run. The second part is that when you believe in your idea, do not give up on it. If you feel that why this idea really works, please give your logistics, or please give your reasoning, a well capable reasoning. That's really important because you believe in it. And if you think that your seniors or the people you meet are not agreeing to it, just ask the right kind of questions, rather than, like I said, don't be too serious. Rather than taking it on a defensive mode, you can always have a positive kind of a feedback, because you always know, what really works and what doesn't. That is the second most important thing. Third thing is, what, this is a tricky thing, but if you start practicing it, it really helps. So if I, like I said, that she looks beautiful, that is one line. So there are different permutations and combinations how you can say the one particular line. That's where the crafting skill comes in. Okay. So if you're saying she looks beautiful, and the you can again say that, so and so person said that she looks, oh, she's elegant. The different way how you write certain kind of message, which is same, which is similar, but your crafting comes when you start looking at things from a different perspective. A simple English is all about she's beautiful, he's handsome. But when you start saying, when you start using words, when you make an impact, she is so beautiful that even the birds, even the birds envy her. Something, I'm just talking random stuff, but this is when your crafting skills. So
Yeah.
that's really important. Your crafting is important, and there are a lot many things that you'll learn when you get into an ad agency. So yeah.
Okay, there's another question. What is life like at Ogilvy?
Life at Ogilvy is happening. Honestly, it's really good because I respect the agency culture that we follow. It's a lot of agencies, if you see, and I have personally worked in a lot of agencies that always do a lot of talking. This is what we are, this is what we believe, this is what our employees are, blah blah blah. Ogilvy never has that urge to talk about themselves. Their employees actually talk about them. And honestly, there's a lot more, there's a culture like this where you can approach anybody in the agency. Trust me, like, people are so approachable that I will give you this example. I was working right now, I was working for Curious, which is an award entry that happens. So I was dicey about how this entries would be going and when are the deadlines. So I randomly approached a person, a fellow member I've never really interacted with. So that is the kind of atmosphere that we have, that you're completely open, like, have fun. Yes, be dead serious about your work. Also, there's not much of talking. People are really approachable. There are like hardly 10% of people you don't know, or you don't really talk to. And the most important thing, if you have, I'm sure you know about Piyush Pandey, you know about Kenaz ma'am, you know about Sukesh sir, a lot many great people out there. All I have seen is they are so humble and down to earth. I have really seen them being so humble. That's the atmosphere at Ogilvy, that everybody is equal. And one of the gesture was, when we used to get out of the lift, we used to always greet the fellow person who was operating the lift and tell him, listen, thank you. That's the word, but that is the culture that really thrives in the agency. So I can say that that is what OPP is all about. You get more humble in life when you get there, and you feel like there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn, and brighter minds around.
Right. Okay. Um, there is another question, ma'am. What is that you do in advertising, and is it virtually or physically?
um Virtually or physically, as in, like, I like a lot of moving job, or more of mechanic job, something like that.
I don't know. They've not explained the question. Okay. I think what would mean is like, if it's more on a desk job or I think that's what they must have meant.
Oh, okay. uh, okay, advertising is a mix of a lot many things, to answer your question. Well, I can say is, you know what, you just have to be like open to it. You know, sometimes you'll go to studio. Sometimes you will just sit at work and be like, okay, I'll handle the team. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, you know what, I have to get a bite of certain people for my videos. So you yourself will be taking that initiative and running around and being like, listen, I want a bite for my video. So please help me out with these things, blah, blah, blah. So advertising is all about being flexible. You know, it's not like कि मैं बैठ के सिर्फ desk job करूँगा, आप ये काम करो. No, trust me, I have gone here and there and you know, got some bites of people that I wanted for my AV. I have personally gone and recorded my own voice because I didn't have a VO artist. These are the kind of things. So it's a mix of everything. Sometimes you might also be called for shoot. Sometimes you'll be called at the studio to do certain voiceover recordings. So it's a mix of a lot many things. Sometimes you'll be told to just, you know, on your way to work, you'll be told to, you know, take pictures of certain things or something, or look for a reference. It's like, it's a spread. It's like you can do anything that you want.
Okay. Radhika has asked if advertising and digital marketing interlinked or interlinked in some way, and if yes, then how?
Okay. So digital marketing is a broader perspective. Okay. Advertising is a part of it. I'm not a pro at digital marketing, but what I can say is that yes, they are interlinked. Because digital marketing is establishing right now. You will see definitely a lot many of advertisers approaching them, and that is how it goes. So yes, they are interlinked, and advertising is really thriving on digital marketing.
Okay. Um, okay. If advertising is advertising for me, if I like to be creative but hate the feeling of selling something I don't find valuable.
See, honestly, that's not the situation. You know, it's not about you forcing or selling your or forcing yourself to sell something. Honestly, that is what the client does. The selling part is for the client. But if you are a creative person, the idea should be that how can I make a difference? That is what the creativity or a creative person is all about. I always say that, you know, like there's a way of talking, there's a way of writing things, there's a way of addressing people, and that is where it all makes a difference. So when if you think you're a creative person, use your creativity for the best thing. Selling or not selling, it happening or not happening is not in our hands. Sometimes, you know, the best of the products see the worst of times, but that's not in your control. All that you did was you did your best, you gave your best, you made an impact with your messaging, you made a difference with your advertising, and that's important.
Okay, Vaishnavi has asked, while writing some kind of poem or story, I can't find the perfect theme to write the story or poem. Okay, can you help me?
Okay. Sometimes, you know what writing is all about. It's about going with the flow. If you think that you are getting really stressed about this particular topic, you know what? Whenever you are in a good frame of mind, I personally did this. Whenever you are in a right or a good frame of mind, just make a list of topics for the next 31 days. So in this way, what happens is for each day, for example, if you think today my topic is like something like a pet, okay, something big, but that's your topic today, and you take that topic, you have that kind of a thinking, and then you know, okay, this is the kind of flow that I have to create. You start observing things, you start noticing what you like about, if you have a pet or if you don't. It's just an example. And the second day you can start with nature, the third day you can talk about world, the fourth day you can talk about life, and so on and so forth. So have a set of topics prepared, mentally prepared, when you're fine, whatever you feel like. So just prepare the topic for the next 30 days and make sure that every day you look at that topic and start writing. Trust me, it helps, because I have done something like that. I also write poems. It's there on my Insta. So I do that sometimes. I make a set of topics that I want to write, and I would just focus, and it works out. Eventually, if the fourth or the fifth day, you will start thinking.
Okay. What kind of questions can we expect in an interview as a copywriter?
Okay. good question. Like I said, pehle, that the kind of basic questions that you'll be asked is what is your favorite campaign or advertising? What kind of books do you read? And who is your favorite writer or author? Then you'll be asked that do you write often? What kind of writing style do you like? Things like that. What kind of shows do you watch? All they are trying to do is they are trying to understand that how creative you are, and what is your and where your creativity comes from. That's why I told you, right? Have a hobby. So yes, that is why all these things are important, that these kind of questions will be asked. And obviously you have to be yourself, you don't have to go by the rules. But yes, these are the questions, like what kind of advertising you like, or what is your really favorite commercial. You can pick international or national ads, whatever you like. You may talk about it as well. What kind of writing you like? Do you like generic writing? Do you like philosophical writing? Do you like writing poems? So these are the kind of questions. What kind of shows you watch on Netflix? Do you watch do you watch something like a rom-com series, or do you watch something that's a serious crime thriller? So these kind of questions where your creativity will be judged.
Okay. Okay. This another question: is masters in advertising helpful?
It depends on what kind of professors or what kind of experiences you have had. I cannot really comment about it. It all depends on your faculties, because it's really important. Trust me. If you're given a lot of projects, you will learn a lot of practicalities. For me, it definitely worked. I really thank my teachers, and today when they look at me, they would be like, "Oh, this person really made it to that place." Because it's really funny when you talk about something like that when you are in college, that, oh, you know what, I want to get into OPP. That is my dream. It all seems like a fun thing when you start your career, but when you actually go there, I would look back and I would really thank my teachers, because they gave me a practical knowledge by giving me a lot of projects. Half of my time, half of my marks, everything depended on the way I presented, or the way my ideas came up with. Oh yes, I also ended up learning Photoshop in my masters, which really helps, because no art guy can fool you and say that this is not possible. I do feel that it has helped for me. Just look for the faculties and look for a good college if you really want to do. It's completely optional. If you want to, you can, you may. Just start with working at an ad agency. That's fine.
A stage comes in your career where your initiative is more important.
Right.
So, yeah. So another question is: did you do any course in advertising?
Yeah, I answered that, right? Like, I did my bachelor's in mass media and specialized in advertising the third year. And later I did my master's in advertising and PR for a couple of years.
Okay. So Vaishnavi has asked, sometimes I can't say yes to some opportunities. I am able to say yes to only few opportunities. Okay, that's the
Okay.
only.
Yeah, that's the filter you need to apply, Vaishnavi. I'm not saying that currently if you have a lot of studies on your plate and then you take up saying that it's an opportunity, then that is not practical. See, there has to be a right chord and balance. But if you think that you're free enough, if you don't have a lot many things to do right now, and then if you say no, then that would raise a slight question and be like, okay, you know what, I should have, or at least I should have spoken about it, or heard about it, or asked the right questions. So I think that the balance between the two is really important. If you have a lot to do on your plate, I'm not saying say yes to everything on your plate. Please put a filter there. But if you think that you wanted to say yes to something and you didn't say, and you hesitated, or you didn't listen to the complete question, or you didn't listen to someone who was trying to help you out or trying to give you an opportunity, and you just said no at the first and then later you regret it, that's not going to help. But yes, strike a balance between the two. It will take you to places.
Okay. What are the hard skills required when it's come to creating advertisements?
Uh, like I said, my first pointer was be okay with rejections, because you know what, all the ideas that you have, not all of them get approved. at the first go. Sometimes you have to push yourself. Sometimes you have to push other people. Sometimes you have to take the team spirit attitude that, you know what, I know I cannot sell this idea. Let me just go and discuss it with my seniors. Let me just go and discuss it with people, why it works or why it doesn't work. So number one, be okay with the rejections. That's the hard skill, and that is something that you really need to master. It doesn't come out easily. Trust me, I'm still learning, I feel. But somewhere, yes, I have learned that part. Second thing is that, you know what, don't think a lot many times, don't feel emotional about you know, someone treating you a certain way. That's not what we are meant for. You know what, you should be emotional about your work. Your work should be like something that you look at it and you just be like, oh, that's my work, I feel so happy looking at it. That is where your emotional things should come out, and not on people or situations that happen in an ad agency. Third thing is, you know what, speak up when you feel you know, when you feel that certain things are not going the way you want. Speak up. You know, people just hesitate thinking that, oh, we have just joined this ad agency, why should we, you know, why, how can we say something that's not okay, that might be rude, or they might just judge us and tell us, listen, you're junior, please speak. Why? No, you speaking up would take you places. I'm not saying be rude, but, you know, put your points across, say why things work or why it doesn't work. Just speak up, you know, have an opinion. It's very, very important.
Okay, that's okay. Someone has asked, how can content writer become a copywriter?
Very good question. I myself was a content writer. So I started up, I missed this point. I think I didn't tell you all. Yeah. My internship was not just with Ogilvy. Before that, when I was in college, I used to take up a lot of content writing work. And it was an unpaid internship that I did. I used to work with a lot many content writing or websites that I used to, because I was only focused on, crafting my skills. I was not really great at it. So content writing is something you can do any time at any point of your career. Please don't think it like, you know, मैं content writer हूँ तो copywriter कैसे बन. No, writer is a writer, be it for content, be it for copy. Like I said, follow the same procedure, approach people on LinkedIn. Trust me, guys, it really works. Do the same things that I've already mentioned, that keep looking for people from, who belong to ad agency. Talk to them, and save all this content work, that you have been doing, so that they have a certain kind of idea how you craft or how you write and what kind of brands you have worked for. So build up your portfolio, still approach the ad agency. If you, the only way to be a copywriter is approach the ad agency. So yeah, that is how it is going to be.
Okay. Abhinav has asked, ma'am, can you suggest some book recommendations for advertising?
See, the copybook is like the most selling book. Hey, Whipple Squeeze This is the another hard selling book. These are like, these are like the lessons that you have in advertising. However, I do believe that the more books you read, no matter whatever genre you like, there is no restriction to it. You read, the more number of books you read, it really helps you think differently, because there is this thing that once you start reading, your visualization power increases. Be it any book that you like. There are a lot many books on advertising. A couple of them is, again, I'll mention the copy book and Hey Whipple Squeeze This. This is like, these are like the really books that you can start with.
Okay. There's a question: how to get into an ad industry as a designer, and how to develop portfolio.
Okay, so as a designer, see, there are certain set of skills that no one can debate and no one can argue with a designer. Okay, so you really need to learn about these softwares that are there. There is Adobe Illustrator, there's Photoshop, there are a lot of editing video, tools or softwares that are available. So a lot many of my colleagues or my friends have been to Maya. They have been to a lot many different places where they developed or learned these skills. These have to be learned. A lot of them come from JJ, JJ Arts and all. So yes, these are the things that you learn first. Once you develop these skills that you have or that you need for a designer, you can apply for the ad agency, and you can showcase the work that you have done as a designer. while you were learning in these institutions. And yes, that is how you can get selected, and you can take your career ahead from there.
Dheeraj is asked, what made you take copywriting as your career?
Okay, so I would say that as a child, we all love watching cartoons. We all love watching movies. We end up dancing to different tunes. That's what we all do, right? I also did that, but apart from that, I had this weird or a really nice thing that I used to also watch commercials. And I used to be like, oh, I had this thing like a quiz playing in my mind. Every time a commercial would pop up, I would be like, ये कौन सा brand है? I think I've seen this. And that is how the interest developed. I till today I have that thing in me that when my parents are watching news, I would still watch commercials. I don't take commercial break, because that is something that I really keep doing. I've always had that since I was a childhood. And later, when people ask me that what do you want to be in life, I was like, मुझे लिखना है advertising के लिए, मुझे अच्छा लगता है. And I never knew it was called copywriting, hilariously. Yeah. But that is how I started up my career. I believed that I really like doing this. Let me see iska kya hai. And then I attended a seminar also, which was from a news channel, and it really helped me understand, oh, this is how I can get into advertising. So yeah, then it got easy for me when I got into the seminar and streamlined.
Okay. Shilpa has asked, hello ma'am, I have studied hotel management now, and after graduation, how can I start working and taking experience in the field of advertising and marketing?
Okay, so hotel management is something, if you really don't want to pursue ahead in that career, that's fine too. However, I would like to say that you know what, the best thing for you to do is just a recommendation. If you are baking a cake, or if you are taking up, I'm sure you must be taking up snapshot of anything that you might have been learning in your course. So you know what, along with that, start writing about the experience that you had while preparing something. If you were baking a cake, this was the experience that you had while you were doing. Or if you were learning a new set of skill, I'm sure that you might have had an experience back then. So just write about it. Again, like I said, whatever it is, just build a portfolio so that someone can understand what goes in your mind. And this is called creative, right? You don't have to have advertising commercials. You need to have something that is creative for people to judge you enough. So that is how you can do it. And again, it depends on, again, I'm talking from a creative perspective. It all depends again on which category you want to go in. Like, do you want to get into client servicing, planning, strategy, anything? Like, just decide for yourself what really works well for you if you want to get into an ad agency.
Um, do we definitely need a professional course in advertising and marketing, or can an online course do?
See, I think, an online, there's a difference between when you take up a course online and when you go and study in an institution. Because in an institution, what happens, you get a practical insights of working with people. You get practical insights of doing projects, and that's what a teamwork is all about, right? जो college में हमें सिखाया जाता है, that is actually true. It helps us in the long run. There's a reason why it happens, right? So I feel there's a lot of difference. Yes, online, when you do it, like you will get a certificate, you will get a degree, but the experiences that you need to nurture yourself, develop your skills, it is going to help you when you actually go and learn and work with people and know your faculties, and that is what is going to help you when you take it online.
Okay. How do you go through with an idea if you have a creative block?
You know what the creative block is about? That's why I covered that really important point that said that let your inner child think. So when you know what an inner child is all about, it's all about that you don't stress yourself about thinking of certain thing. For example, if I say that think of a mobile phone, all you think the whole day is about mobile phone, and that is when the block happens. you know what exactly how you think is something like, okay, this is a mobile phone, fine, I'll think about it. And then you just park yourself and you'll be like, okay, fine, mobile phone. It's there in your subconscious, but you don't take up too much on yourself. And the reason why we get a creative block is to understand why we are getting it. That's how you solve the problem. And if you get a creative block, whatever, if you get a creative block, what you need to do is you need to relax. First of all, relax, take a walk, listen to good music, and don't think about that topic. That's the first trick. Be stress free, and detach yourself from that topic or from that idea, that campaign, whatever you are working on. Take a break, come back again, be refreshed and think fresh. Now you can also do a lot many things, like it really keeps your mind nourished. If you are an artist, you can draw something, you can paint something. If you're a writer, please write as much as you want, just take out all that feeling. And if you are into certain kind of meditation retreat, yoga, whatever, whatever works for you, it really helps you open your mind. That's how you get it.
Okay, so there's still many questions. What I will do is I will post a feedback form in the chat section, and then we will take a few more questions, and then we'll end the webinar. So I'm going to post a feedback form, and all the mentees who are there, they can fill that form, and we can continue with a few questions now.
Okay, all right.
How do we get resume worthy internships in the current scenario?
Like in the current scenario, in terms of the lockdown and all that. Okay, keep your I would like to say that keep your resume as simple as possible. Don't try to be creative there, because try and understand that a person who, like me, who's judging your resume, or someone senior to me, or anybody who's judging your resume, we would really like to see that what you're trying to say rather than what you're trying to show. So very important, keep your resume as simple and as minimal as possible. Don't keep it too lengthy. Just be really specific. What are your skills? What are you good at? What is your education? Where do you live? Your name, your email, and what is your background in terms of your education again? Well, keep it decent. Use a smaller font. Don't use too big of a font or something. Don't try to be creative on your, we get a lot of resumes like that are really nice to look. But at the end of the day, we will judge you by how you present yourself, right? So resume is the first step. If you really, if someone sees something in your resume, be it your education qualification, be it the different kind of hobbies that you have adapted yourself with, so that's fine. Keep it simple. There's no hard and fast rule.
Okay. Pranjali has asked, does pursuing education in advertising helps to secure better job? I am bachelor in electronic media and have been working with small advertising agency for an year. Shall I pursue a master's or post-graduation diploma in advertising?
You know what? I feel that rather than pursuing a career, a career that would add up to more education, qualification, and degree, I feel advertising is something that's really practical. If you have already been working in an ad agency, that you should continue working at a better, if you get an opportunity, jump to a better place, or take more opportunities, learn from people around, keep asking questions, and develop your skills like that. If you feel that you still want to learn and take up any kind of degree or education, there is no bar to it. People till today, I've been seeing that people take a break and learn something and come back, but they try to find their calling. So there is no restriction that advertising is for you or for everyone. People, after a certain point, people do realize that they want to do something else with their creative minds. Yeah.
Okay. So, Anvaya, I think, sorry to mispronounce your name, but okay. So, hi, I'm Anvaya. Can you please suggest how to go about making a strong portfolio? Can you share some reference ideas perhaps?
A strong portfolio is something that covers up basic insight, that how did you get that idea. Okay, for example, if you want to talk about a product or for a brand, what really matters is what we really judge in a portfolio is the proactive stuff. what you did for yourself more than you did for anybody else. Like something that you took up without having any kind of brief. Your proactive work is really, really important. So my kind of reference or example is that I usually write radio spots. I love writing radio spots. So my next step ahead was recording those radio spots because I was so passionate about it, and I was judged on that. And that was like certain things were for brand and certain things was for myself. So I used a different kind of tonality, a different kind of script that I wanted. I recorded it all by myself and I just put it as my portfolio stuff. And that passion that is there within you, that how willing are you to take it ahead. If you feel that you don't have an art person, if you're a writer and if you don't have an art person with you, even if you sketch it out, maybe that's a small effort, but you did it, right? That's your passion. Your passion will always scale a level up rather than all those technical things that people judge about.
Okay, so this is the last question we are going to take up because she had already asked a question before. Ratna Bharti is explaining her question. Can you explain branding work and PR work? Can you explain the difference between branding and marketing? Sorry, branding, PR, and marketing, because few agencies consider as one role.
See, I really cannot comment of the other agencies, okay, but I can tell you something from my experience. So, the work that I do for my brand is something that we do as an agency, right? So we do it, but we don't talk about it. So when we don't talk about it, the PR people talk about it. So that's what the PR does. The PR does is take the coverage. They harp about it. They say that, you know what, this brand did so and so for this particular reason. That is a PR's job. An advertising person's job is to be creative, to be like, okay, this is what the brief is, this is what the requirement is, and this is how I can think out of the box. And that is what an ad agency does. The PR agency talks about it. The PR agency talks about the brand. And marketing is a really big picture. Marketing involves everybody. Like, it involves your brands, it involves your celebrities behind the brand, it involves what kind of color should be taken into consideration, what kind of products we should make. Marketing is a broader perspective. How a PR is what I explained, that people talk about your work, that is PR, that is public relations, right? Building the relation with your public. How do you do that? When the brands don't talk about themselves, but a PR agency is hired to talk about it. So that those are the differences that you have, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we are gonna end the Q&A right now, and some mentees might want to connect to you maybe post session. So can you just give them some maybe your LinkedIn ID or something?
Yes, definitely. So my LinkedIn ID is Dipti Sudhakar. Y'all can definitely drop in your messages to me, or if I can solve any kind of queries or any kind of concerns that you have, I will try my best to answer each and all of your questions. Trust me, it might take a bit of my time, but or it might even take a certain time to reply on the spot. You might not get it immediately, but trust me, I'll try and address as many questions as I can. So yes, Dipti Sudhakar is my LinkedIn profile. You all can definitely go there, message me, raise your questions, ask me of queries, anything that you all want, anytime. Please be free, be open about it. Do not hesitate, because I did the same. I approached a lot of people, and I am really thankful for all of those. And I would be happy to help those who are really, trying to pursue advertising. It would be really great.
Yeah, that's it was really insightful to connect to someone who's already working in the industry. So I'm quite sure that our mentees had a great experience with this webinar, and it will be great connecting to you over LinkedIn. So we'll stay in touch.